Bantam Doubleday Dell Audio Publishing presents Star Wars, Shield of Lies, Book 2 of the Black Fleet Crisis, by Michael P. Kube-McDowell. Part 1. Lando. The Telgicon vagabond was on the run once more. But this time there were hitchhikers aboard. "Hyperspace," C-3PO echoed as he struggled to free himself. The droid's limbs were tangled up with Lobot, R2-D2, and the equipment sled in one corner of the vagabond's airlock, a chamber which had suddenly become a space-going prison. "Master Lobot, did you say we're in hyperspace?" Lobot pushed a flailing golden leg away from his faceplate. "I am not mistaken. All my data links terminated at the same moment, in the manner I associate with a hyperspace jump." Lando spoke up from the opposite corner of the lock. "There was a course change, too, during the acceleration." He flexed his bare right hand, trying to drive the bone-chilling cold from his fingers. He'd lost his glove when they were separated from the airlock. His wrist cuff sealed off his suit, fortunately, keeping it pressurized at least. "Master Lando, can't you make it stop?" "I didn't make it start, 3PO. "With all respect, Master Lando, you most certainly did. Now you just reach back in that hole and undo whatever you did, and quickly, too. Colonel Kube-McDowell will be most upset with us for running off with his starship." "At least Colonel Kube-McDowell is on a ship he can boss. We're not. Any damage over there, Lobot, R2-D2? The little astromech droid emerged from the jumble of bodies. "I'm uninjured, Lando," said Lobot. "My suit took the impact of the equipment sled, but my data links are still all down, and I am finding it disorienting." "R2, give Lobot a link to your event log. There might be something in there we can use to figure out what happened. It looks to me like we're no longer invited guests and welcome visitors on this craft. She shook off Lady Luck and tried to spit us out. Probably would have succeeded if she hadn't been trying to run away from Kube-McDowell's task force at the same time." "Which raises a question," said Lobot. "Why didn't she know?" "I'm listening," said Lando. "It appears to be a misjudgment. 2 defense routines were activated without consideration of their combined effect. Also, this compartment began repressurizing after the entry was sealed. That appears to be another inconsistency. These events suggest that the ship is either under the control of systems with limited intelligence or under the control of beings with limited intelligence." Lando sighed. "I'm sure of this much. That lock closed because of the jump, not as any favor to us. We're not wanted here. And if we're not clear of this compartment by the time the vagabond leaves hyperspace, I don't think too much of our chances." 3PO raised his arms and began calling out to whoever or whatever might be listening. "We apologize. Please believe me. I never meant to harm anyone." "Shut up, 3PO. "Yes, sir." "Lando," said Lobot. "What?" "It couldn't hurt. Diplomatic words are the tool 3PO is best equipped to wield. And perhaps an apology will prove to be the key that will open the next door." Sighing, Lando waved his gloved hand toward C-3PO. "All right, but 3PO, a little dignity, please." "Of course, Master Lando. I am programmed to conduct myself in a dignified manner at all times." While R2 searched for any inflow events that could be responsible for maintaining pressure, 3PO made entreaties to the Vagabond's masters, and Lobot analyzed the acceleration and astrographic data and inventoried the equipment on the sled. Lando, after improvising a glove from a plastic sample bag, returned to the control handle in the corner of the compartment to see if it would respond to him. The handle proved immovable. Lando returned to where Lobot and the equipment sled floated. "Did you get anything out of R2's data?" Lobot rattled off a series of numbers. "I believe I have our heading prior to the jump to within half a degree. I apologize for the imprecision. The nearest body that is close enough to the center of the flight path and has a large enough gravity shadow to force a ship out of hyperspace is 41.53 light-years away." 3PO volunteered. "R2 says that in 12.9 light-years, this vessel will enter the most isolated region along this flight path. At that point, there will be no charted bodies larger than a Class 5 comet for nearly 9 light-years in any direction." Lando sighed. "Well, sounds like a good place to make a course change, and far enough out to give us a little time to work with. R2, what'd you find out about the pressure?" 3PO translated. "Master Lando, R2 says that there are no inflow vents anywhere in this chamber." "What? Then how was this chamber repressurized?" "According to R2, the atmospheric gases are passing through the bulkheads molecule by molecule." "Let me get this straight. These bulkheads are porous?" "No, Master Lando. R2 says that molecules of gas simply appear on the surface." 3PO, give me a report on your progress." The golden droid cocked his head. "Sir, so far I have hailed the masters of this vessel in 11,463 languages, offering our abject apologies and asking for their assistance. I will be able to complete the initial series in 4.2 standard days." "That's about what I figured. Lobot, dig out the cutting blaster. We're gonna have to make our own door." With a grim expression on his face, Admiral Hiram Drayson, head of Alpha Blue, sat on the edge of his desk and studied the final contact report from Colonel Pakpakat at Gemirasculo. The recordings from the spotter ships were dramatic and alarming. Moments before the Vagabond broke away, a ring of 6 rounded bumps, accumulator nodes or beam radiators, Drayson thought, appeared at the forward end of the ship. A fierce blue light began to dance over the bow. Then twin beams of energy shot out from 2 of the nodes and scissored back through the gap between the Vagabond and Lady Luck, slicing them apart. Another pair of beams carved through the interdiction generator on the underbelly of the Picket Cowrie. The instant Cowrie was neutralized, the Vagabond began to move, accelerating out past the disabled Picket's position, well clear of the remaining interdictors. Just 42 seconds after it began, it was over, the Vagabond vanishing into the center of a hyperspace cone. It was beyond dispute now that the Vagabond's weapons were compound. The intersection of 2 or more beams did the damage, probably through some sort of harmonic resonance. It seemed as though 6 targets were all the Vagabond could handle. Possibly as few as 4 ships might overwhelm its defenses. But first, Pakpakat would have to find the Vagabond again, a task that had taken 2 years the last time. Drayson called up the chart of the pursuit and studied it closely. 3 ships were racing for search stations along the Vagabond's last heading. Lightning, 10 light-years out, Glorious, 20, and Marauder, 30. The improvised plan called for them to drop sensor buoys with hypercom repeaters at those entry points, and then begin making short jumps out to the limits of sensor range, hoping to catch a glimpse of their quarry. The precision of the plan did not mask its weakness. Its slim chance of success depended on the Vagabonds making a single short jump. If it followed a short jump with a second jump on another heading, where there were no eyes to see or sensors to track, or if it carried the first jump out beyond the borders of the New Republic and into the chaos of the core. Drayson knew that Colonel Pakpakat had addressed an urgent appeal for more ships to both New Republic intelligence and the Fleet Office. He also knew the likely answer to that appeal. "The only real chance for us to catch her lies with you, Lando," Drayson said softly. The Senate's Council on Security and Intelligence announced no meetings, released no public reports, and met only in closed session in the field-shielded Room 030 deep in the sub-basements of the old Imperial Palace. Even Drayson found it difficult to discover when the CSI would take up Pakpakat's request, and when he did learn about that session, it was too late to listen in.
Last item on the agenda is the Telgicon expedition, said.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?